Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. To those of you who don't know me, my name is Pamela Musoni, and Ness was just sharing her journey on relocating to the Republic of Ireland. To those who follow me regularly, welcome back. Thank you for your support all day, every day. So today I just want to talk about bringing your family over to Ireland, what or how you do it, and just a bit on life after that. So basically, before I applied, you just hear from everyone, oh, they want you to have three months bank statement. You should have at least 1.5 for each person you're bringing and all. I don't know if that's really true, guys. Obviously they need to see that you can sustain the lives of the people you're bringing, but I don't think it's really realistic to have 1.5 for each person. Okay, let's say you've got 3 kids plus your partner, that's like 6,000 for all of you, of which bear in mind that you're probably better off financially. Once you're here, you're probably helping out at home, you're probably putting all measures to bring people home to Ireland, like getting a house. Rentals are like 1.5, 2,000. You're probably gonna pay for visa fees, you're probably preparing a whole lot of things, and once you get a house, guys, it's like you're starting from scratch. You're buying TVs, you're buying, so in as much as you're earning a decent salary, you still got so many expenses when you're looking to bring your family. So I don't know, like when I remember when I applied for my family, I had, yes, it was showing that the money was coming in, but it was also showing that the money was going out. So I don't know whether that's really true, that it definitely has to be 1.5 each, because I don't even think I had that much money in my account. But it did show that I've had money, big amounts of money in my account before. Anyway, let me stop going on and on about that. So basically, when you bring your family over, the most important thing they want is your documentation. You are considered the sponsor, so obviously they are going to want your bank statement. Obviously they are going to want I think it's bank statement for the last 3 months. So probably if you're looking to bring your family and maybe I'm going to apply in December, then make sure the 3 months before that your finances are looking good. And also they want all your documentation, your contract. They want a letter from your workplace to confirm that you really do work. So your HR will give you a letter that says, oh, Pamela Musoni works for whatever hospital since when, like they confirm. It's just a letter to confirm that you're employed. Then they want your contract, they want documents like your marriage certificate, they want the children's birth certificates. Let me just check and make sure I give you all the information. But if you've got questions, don't hesitate to hit me up on my Instagram or in my Facebook DM. Let me just check the full list and give you something conclusive. And then yeah, so you basically need those documents. So also, right, the first thing would be an invitation letter. You need to type out a letter stating that you're inviting your significant others. State them, probably their passport numbers and all, to come to Ireland. And you also then say that I will be responsible for them while they are here. That shows that you are the sponsor. And then you have to have a copy of your passport, first to the last page. And then also have your GADA card or the GNIB card that you get, which is your residence permit. You need to have that, and you have to have a copy of both sides of it. And then also, like I said, sorry, bank statement, if I'm not mistaken, it should be 6 months. So you have to have a color copy. So your bank statement, so make sure, just to avoid problems, make sure your things are color copied. And then pay slips for the last 3 months, color copied as well. The employment letter I talked about. And then they want your tax credit copy. So you know how every year or every beginning of the year we do the tax clearance and we get a copy of the tax credit. They want that. And obviously they would want your NES's registration copy, like your NMBI registration certificate. And then also your critical skills work permit. You make a copy of that, you send it. There's a letter, I remember, that he sends, no, that you get once your critical skills is out. You print that out as well. And then also you need proof that you have accommodation for the people that you're bringing. So you need a letter from your landlord, like to show that you're a tenant, and whatever, whether it's the, what do they call it, tenants agreement copy, or a letter from the landlord, or then also just a utility bill, or an original one. So you can get an electricity bill, or I don't know, gas or oil bill, but I think I used an electricity bill. And then also the people that you're bringing now, they should have valid passports for at least 1 year. And guys, I remember this, my partner and my son, they didn't put their previous passports, and it came back to us. So make sure, when, if they have previous passports, submit those previous passports. If they don't have them, like or they got lost, get a letter from the police to show that those passports of those passport numbers got lost or were stolen, or whatever the case. And then also they need 2 passport size photos for each of them, and like I said before, your marriage certificate and your children's birth certificates, and then also just family photos or marriage photos for you and your partner, or you and your children, or all of you as a family before you came. And then also they said spouse name should be endorsed in husband or wife's passport. I don't think I'd put down my husband in my passport. I'm not sure about that, but I don't think that's a really big issue. And also bank statement for 6 months for your partner. So those are the basics. If you feel like you have a question on anything, or you want me to give you that list, you can hit me up in my DMs. Pamela Musoni, double E at the end on Instagram, and Pamela Musoni I at the end on Facebook. So yeah, so that's it. That's what you send, and usually it shouldn't take long. If they come back to you that they need extra documentation, just do it speedily, because they give you like a time frame to say, we need these documents within 6 weeks, or whatever the case. So make sure you have all your things in one go. Like, don't keep doing it, because it's a very frustrating process, especially considering the fact that you would have been separated for your family for quite a bit of time, and then when you're looking forward to them coming, there are delays. So try to get everything in order and send once off. Otherwise, right, so that's the documentation part of it. You've submitted those things, the visas come back. The things that you're looking to do is to get them travel insurance when they're coming, is to get them tickets. So I will give advice. Like I always say on my channel, I don't talk about what other people did or whatever. I talk about what I did. I share my experience. So what I'll tell you is, I feel, or from the little research I've done, it's cheaper to actually come from South Africa. Either you get a flight from Harare or from Bulawayo to Joburg, or you catch a bus, but generally the flights from South Africa to Ireland are cheaper. Why I say so, my family came when it was peak time, like, you know, August is holidays, people are traveling and all, but they still managed to get tickets for 1.2 for both of them, for 2 people, my son and my husband, which means it was 600 each, and that was going via UK and then to Dublin. So that flight was also just 14 hours. So the other things to consider, when, especially when kids are coming, is how long the flight is going to take, how many stopovers are going to be there. Do you really want, like, you know how husbands are not so good with kids? It's sometimes difficult for them to like handle the children on a 22-hour flight. Because I remember when I came, my first flight, when I came the first time, it was 22 hours. When I came the second time, I think it was 21 hours or 22 hours. So it was a long flight. There were like stopovers on the way. So sometimes if the kids are coming, then it's easier to just get a shorter flight. So if you look on like if you just check online, there are flights that you get from South Africa that are really 14 hours, and they are very fast. You leave South Africa or Tambo at about 6 p.m. and then you're in London, you're in, is it Gatwick, the following morning at about 5, and then you're in Dublin at about 8, and it's pretty straightforward. I think that's the easiest flight. Then also, like I always say, each to their own. You choose what suits you. If you feel, no, we don't want the hassle of going to South Africa and then going, and you just want to come straight, then also you can just get your Ethiopian Airways. And I hear Ethiopian Airways will now be leaving from Bulawayo, which is also very convenient, because before you had to go either to Harare or to Vic Falls to get the Ethiopian Airways to Dublin, but then you'd go via Addis Ababa as well. So also, uh, something I've missed something there. There's something I wanted to say, but generally those are the options that you have. You can either go via South Africa, and I've seen a lot of people opt to do that. Like I said before, because of the savings you do in your finances on the flights. So it's all up to you. But if you feel you don't want the hassle of traveling to South Africa and then traveling from South Africa to Dublin, then you can just leave from Harare or Vic Falls. Then another thing that I wanted to say also is, if you are going to leave via South Africa, always make sure that you have written a letter to give an affidavit to give the person traveling with the children permission to travel with the children. So like with me, I had to write a letter for my husband to say I'm giving him permission to travel with my son, and then you state your passport number, your name, and you state their details as well. And that's because South Africa has its own laws. If you know from before, I used to go to South Africa a lot when I was still in Zim. If you travel to South Africa with a child, my husband had to write a letter to give me permission to travel with the child, and if he did it, it was vice versa. I had to write a letter. So if you're going to go through South Africa, you need that letter to state that you are giving him permission. Others say they weren't asked for it, others were. So just to be safe, you need to have it. And then right, there's preparation that you need to do, guys, for your family coming. Like, one thing I'll tell you is, yes, the salaries are decent enough, but if you know that your family is coming, start preparing things like schools. You need to decide, like, way before they even come, which schools are convenient to where you're staying, whether you want your children to go around there to schools around where you stay, or whether you want them to go to other schools far away. But still, whatever decision you make, it must be a decision that's based on your capability, on your working hours, and who's going to be dropping the kids, who's going to be picking the kids, what's convenient for you. So always, what I've seen is the most convenient thing for people is to get a school nearby where they stay. And I've seen that even for me. I got a school where it's like 5 minutes away from home. Like, so it's just dropping him off, picking him up. It's very convenient. Whereas if I had to drive him an hour, we're talking about diesel or fuel or whatever you're using. We're talking about if you don't have a car, we're talking about transport to and from. So it's more convenient to get a school near where you're staying. And yeah, so schools, you need to do that before they come. You need to just get the place. Once you know you're going to apply the visas, go to talk to the school where you want to take your child or your children. And then once you have those letters, you can also get what do they call these, the confirmation letter from the school to show that your child is supposed to start school. Like I did, I got a letter and I gave that to the dad as well, just to have, like, in case immigration gives him a hard time. But they didn't. I'm not sure if they asked him for that. I don't think they did, just in case. But that letter as well, when you get it, you also use it when you're applying for a PPS number for your child. So let's say your family is now here. The other steps to take is to apply for a PPS number, 1 for your partner, 2 for your children. For your partner, it's done online, and for your children, it's done at the at the local office. You can Google that, or you can check on, is it My Welfare? You go on My Government ID and then check on the services they offer, their advice on that. So when you go there for the child, like for mine, I applied on a Wednesday. On Friday, I received the letter for his PPS number, and then don't forget that Ireland also, there's things like child benefit. So once you have like all the details or all the requirements that they want, then apply for child benefit for your child. It should be €140 per month. And also now I think some people were getting back to school payments or whatever, which goes a long way in cushioning you, because honestly, once you have your family here, every little cent counts. But I think there's a criteria, or there are certain people who meet the standards to get the child benefit as well. So yeah, that's it on bringing your family. And also I saw a post on Facebook this morning of someone who was just talking about their experience on bringing the family, that they're not able to save as much as they did when they were alone, and they feel like, you know, they should have just left their family in Zimbabwe. You know what, I think the reason we left home was to have a better life. And I don't think we would want to have, this is my opinion by the way, I'm not imposing it on anyone, I don't think you would have peace of mind when you know that, oh, my child is in Zimbabwe, I don't know if my child has had a decent meal or is having decent meals throughout the week. I'm not happy with the standard of education my child is having there. I'm missing my child. You know, people have depression because of separation, or people have separation anxiety with their children or their partners or their families. So I think sometimes once you've made the decision to bring them over, let's prepare ourselves psychologically. One, two, let's prepare ourselves financially. I know it's not easy, but then it's one thing we just need to accept, that we were definitely, like, I was alone for 1 year 4 months. I think the money I was spending on myself or on the food or the amount of food I was consuming or expenses generally were for one person. But one thing, definitely when you have 2 extra people or 3 extra people or more, expenses are going to be more. So it's either you save and get to a point where you feel like, okay, if the family comes, I'm not going to be too strained, or you just accept that this is what's there, as long as you can put food on the table and also just pay your bills, yeah, okay. Because I feel like sometimes we also put pressure on ourselves to be like, okay, I used to save 1,000 or 2,000 before the family came, now I've only remained with 100 euro. It's frustrating, yes, but I think it's better for me to come home to my family after a stressful work, like after a stressful shift. That gives me peace of mind, than to have 10,000 in my account and I'm missing my child every day, or I'm missing my partner. So I think we need to do a lot in terms of preparing ourselves, be it psychologically, be it financially. But that's just my opinion. I'm not judging anyone. It's hard, guys. I know people just expect that, oh, they're in the diaspora, oh, they're living the best life, oh, but there's also a standard of living here. Once your children are going to school, they need uniforms. Yes, they're not paying fees, but they need uniforms, they need stationery, they need whatever, sportswear and all that stuff. So it's a big expense that people don't expect, and you'll find that even family members who've remained back home are still expecting you to be sending them money and all, and it's strain us, but we just have to get through it until maybe your partner is working, it eases off a bit. But we just have to accept that this is like, it's better off when you're with your family, and it's worth the sacrifice. Otherwise, guys, I've rambled on and on. If you've got questions, connect with me on my Instagram, connect with me on my Facebook. Next, I'll be talking, a lot of people have been DMing me that they've got their DLs, so I'm going to just do a bit of research, and then we're going to talk about recruiters or people who employ, or agencies in the island that I know of. If you know anyone who's recruiting, or who's an agent, or who's very reliable, because also we don't want to give people information that will mislead them. We want to give people information that will help them. So if you know of a reliable agent, or that you used or whatever, just comment down below or hit me in my DMs. I'll mention them when I do my next video on recruiters. So thank you guys for the support. To those who haven't subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. As you can see, the settings have changed. It's hard now with the family around. You can't just do YouTube videos anyway. You need to choose a good time. That's why I've been a bit quiet. I've been busy, and also just the family setup. Sometimes it's difficult to get a minute to yourself to sit down and do a video. But anyway, I hope this has been beneficial to those who are planning to bring their families, and those who are coming on. It's just a guide. Anyway, guys, thank you. Please like, please share, please subscribe.